Hello guys, my name is Shreyas A. I'm an educator at an academy. You can follow me on the Learning app as well. You can see my set of courses on the Learning app as well. So here I am with a new course, a new lesson. So the lesson will be about the fundamentals used in the energy resources. So please do rate it, review it and share it. And please do subscribe us on our YouTube channel, that is the Unacademy Engineering Curriculum. Thank you. So guys, let's start with our new course on the elements of mechanical engineering topic. So my name is Shreyas A. I'm a BE Mechanical Engineering student. You can follow me at the above URL given over here, which is my Unacademy user platform. So energy resources will be the course on which our lessons will be based. So the target audience for this slide will be engineering students, general audience who are interested in science related courses, people who are interested in environmental resources, people who are interested in knowing the involvement of natural resources. So the learning outcomes of this slide will be, you guys will get a overview or the introduction of the fundamental definitions used in the energy resources, the formulas, the characteristics of a good fuel, the reactions taking place in the fuel bed, a typical fuel system, the need of alternative resources in our generation right now, and the selection criteria of these alternative fuels which are going to be used. So fundamentals of energy resources will be our lesson for today. Let's start with the first set of slides. So before going on into the lesson, let me tell a quote which is of normal behavior, that is, the energy or active exercise of the mind, it constitutes the life. Let's start with our course on the definitions. So let's first go with the flash point. Flash point, it is defined as the lowest temperature at which an ignition source causes the vapors of the specimen to ignite under specified conditions. Then next we have the fire point. Fire point is also regarded as the lowest temperature at which the vapors given off by the oil or a liquid ignites and continues to burn for at least 5 seconds. Then we have something called as the cloud point, which is defined as the temperature at which the oil becomes cloudy or hazy. Then we have something called as the power point, the pour point, sorry for that. The temperature at which the oil just ceases to flow or just ceases to pour is called as the pour point. Then we have something called as the smoke point. The smoke point is the indicator of the combustion quantities of aviation turbine fuel and kerosene. So you can see here, this is the apparatus from which we will be seeing the flash point, fire point and the other points. You can see here it is placed over here, and from there this is actually fire point is seen. Regardlessly, the other points are also seen by the usage of the same apparatus. Let's move on with the definitions. Let's go on to the smoke point. Smoke point, it is the indicator of the combustion quantities of aviation turbine fuel and kerosene. Let's move on to the aniline point. The aniline point is defined as the temperature at which equal volumes of aniline and diesel oil are completely miscible. Then we have something called as the diesel index. The diesel index is the method of expressing the quality of diesel oil by the use of diesel index. Then we have something called as the air-fuel ratio. The air-fuel ratio is defined as the ratio of mass of air divided by ratio of the mass of the fuel. Then the last definition, which is the equivalence ratio. The equivalence ratio is defined as the deviation of the actual mixture from the stoichiometric conditions. So you can see here, this is a apparatus which is used for finding the air-fuel ratio in a compressor turbine or a compressor engine. So what are the characteristics of a good fuel? The characteristics of a good fuel are, it should have a highly calorific value. It should moderate at an ignition temperature. So the ignition temperature should be very moderate. It requires a moderation ignition temperature. It should contain a low moisture content, and the non-combustible matter must be of low content, and the ash content used in the fuel must be less, and the size of the ash content must be uniform. So you can see here the moisture content. This is actually the moisture content in plants. I just wanted to give a description of how a moisture looks, that's it. So what are the characteristics of a good fuel? The characteristics of the good fuel will be continued again. So this is the characteristics of the good fuel again. They should be readily available at bulk in low cost. The products of these combustion should not be harmful. The combustion should be easily controllable, and it should be very safe, convenient, and it should be economical for the storage and transport of these fuels. So this is actually the bulk quantity of coal. So that is the reason they follow the solid fuel or the energy resources a lot, because they are in non-renewable. They are non-renewable energy resources and they can be got in plenty. They are renewable energy resources. Sorry for that. So the reaction taking place in the fuel bed, there are three reactions taking place in the fuel bed, namely the oxidation zone, the reduction zone, and the distillation zone. So what is the oxidation zone? It is the first zone where the reaction happens. It is the lowest part of the fuel bed where carbon of the fuel burns in the presence of excess air to turn into carbon dioxide. Then in the reduction zone, which is the second part of the reactions taking place in the fuel bed, the carbon dioxide, which is present in the oxidation zone, it rises to the hot bed and is reduced by coke to carbon monoxide. The fuel which is present in the apparatus, it gets heated up to 1000 degrees centigrade and beyond that. So while at high temperatures, the ash which forms clinker formations or slag, which are rather difficult to remove, and the grate bars and the refractory linings of these surfaces get distorted. In order to avoid these problems, a reduction in temperature is achieved by passing air which is saturated with steam inside of the air turbine or the air compressor. Then we have the last thing called as the distillation zone, which is the third reaction or the last reaction, which is the uppermost part of the fuel bed where the distillation of the volatile material or the matter occurs. So you can see here, this is what the fuel bed is. The carbon dioxide and water greenhouse gases, which is the reduction, and the natural gas and oxygen to breathe, which is the oxidation. And you can see this layer is the distillation layer, this is the reduction layer, and this is the oxidation zone or the oxidation layer. So you can see the fuel bed, actually it's correctly given over here. This is the oxidation layer, this is the reduction layer, as well as this is the distillation zone or the distillation layer. So this is actually the fuel bed of a coal, the coal fuel bed, how the coal fuel bed looks from outside. This is the image representation for that. So let's go into what is a typical fuel system. The typical fuel system is of three types, namely the fuel supply system, the air supply system, and the fuel metering system. The fuel supply system, the system gets its name because of its supply of clean fuel. The apparatus which the fuel supply system includes are the fuel pumps, fuel pipes, and the fuel filters. The air supply system, it gets its name because of the supply of controlled clean air. The apparatus include air filter, ductings, and valves. The fuel metering system, it gets its name because of the metering of the correct amount of fuel. The apparatus used in the fuel metering system are injectors, pressure regulators, and throttle valves. So what are the need for alternative fuels nowadays? So when there is a shortfall occurs, when there is no crude oil or no petroleum occurring, these fuels will become a smooth transition compared to the other fuels. They have long-term security of supply, they improve the air quality, and they overcome the absence of indigenous crude oil supply also. They improve the air quality because the alternative fuel gives cleaner exhaust gas compared to the other forms of the fuel. And they overcome the absence of indigenous crude oil supply, and they also help in the adverse balance of payments situation. So what are the selection criteria for these fuels? They should be cheap and they should be unlimited. They should have an unlimited availability. They should produce less emission, that is the less emission production. They should cleanly burn out all the gases. They should contain a highly calorific value. They must be easy and cheaper to produce. They must increase the engine life of the IC engines, and they must be easy to handle and store and for transportation purposes, and they need less modification in the existing of these IC engines. So if you have to pour this fuel to the existing IC engines, they need less modification. So thank you guys. Any questions? Please drop those in the comments box below. You can find me at the above URL, which is my Unacademy user platform. And please, if you have liked this presentation, please do rate this course, review this course and recommend this course. And please do follow me on the Unacademy user platform mentioned over here. Thank you guys for your wonderful time. Have a good day.